Hey everyone, welcome back. We are continuing this series titled Rejected Gospel Teachings. So we're on part 5, and we're going to look at how the Messiah handled others abusing their beasts. And we are starting in the 22nd chapter of the Gospel of the Holy 12. And it says here that it came to pass that the Lord departed from the city and went out over the mountains with his disciples. And they came to a steep mountain and found a man with a beast of burden. The horse had fallen down, for it was overladen, and he struck it till the blood flowed. And Jesus went to him and said, Son of cruelty, why do you strike the beast? Don't you see that it's too weak for its burden? And do you not know that it suffers? But the man answered and said, What does this have to do with you? I may strike it as much as I please, for it is mine. And I bought it with a goodly sum of money. Ask them who are with you. He's talking about the disciples. They are of mine acquaintance, and they know thereof. And some of the disciples answered, they said, Yeah, Lord, it is as he says. We saw it when he bought it. And the Lord said, Do you not see how it bleeds? And do you not hear how it wails and laments? But they answered and said, No, Lord, we hear not that it wails and laments. And the Lord was sorrowful and said, Woe unto you because of the dullness of your hearts. You do not hear how it laments and cries unto the heavenly Creator for mercy. But 3 times woe unto him against whom it cries and wails in its pain. And he went forward and touched it, and the horse stood up, and its wounds were healed. But to the man he said, Go now thy way, and strike it no more, if you also desire to find mercy. Now that's pretty significant, especially when we look at the other 2 passages that are in this video. It's basically, the way you're going to act now in this lifetime is what you're going to get in the next life, even towards animals. And you're going to see that in the next few passages. And Jesus said, I came to end the sacrifices and feasts of blood. And if you cease not offering and eating of flesh and blood, the wrath of God shall not cease from you, even as it came to your fathers in the wilderness, who lusted for flesh, and they ate to their content, and were filled with rottenness, and the plague consumed them. And I say to you, though you be gathered together in my bosom, if you keep not commandments, I will cast you forth. For if you keep not the lesser mysteries, who shall give you the greater? And I guess that was in chapter 21, verses 1 through 8. A good chapter. So I think that's pretty big. There's a lot packed into that, a lot of things to take from that. And it just gives you an idea of how he handled different situations. I think it's neat that he even goes as far as healing the horse. And then he also talked about how he said, don't you guys hear how it's suffering? And it, to me, when I was reading that, I'm like, and the disciple said, no, we don't. And it's so funny, kind of ironic, that today people are so oblivious to animal cruelty, animal suffering, and it's like they pretend that it doesn't happen. And even my wife had shown one of her family members a video one time. I think it was Food Inc., but it was something like, the Dominion videos. Food Inc. is like, I think it was about a decade ago, but it's like the G-rated version of Dominion. It's not as graphic, but it still shows you what happens. They're both pretty gruesome, to be honest. I mean, they show things that are hard to watch, but Dominion just really, that one really does. I mean, if you want to wake people up, show them that documentary. Anyway, the point that I was making was that she had shown that person. I believe it was Food Inc., and her family member had said, I started to watch it, but it just got too graphic for me and I had to shut it off. Now, it's funny because what she had witnessed made it had no impact on her of what her decision was going to be moving forward with what she eats or how she views animal cruelty. She turned it off because it was inconvenient to her lifestyle and she didn't want to think about it. She even admitted that and said, I just don't want to think about that kind of stuff because, I have no plans to stop eating the way that I do. And this is someone who lives in the drive-through. And, it's like her children like live on Happy Meals. So it's really hard when you really try to wake people up and show them that, hey, there are really good reasons why we live the way that we do. And when you try to show them, they ignore it because it's just an inconvenience to them. So I think it's funny too, because it's what's going on here. It's like the disciples, they're like, no, we don't hear how it suffers. It's like, how can you not see when an animal is suffering? And it kind of reminded me of the time that Jesus had spent in Egypt and going through India, and he had learned the language of the animals. He observed them. And it's really neat that he just took the time to get in touch with the animal kingdom. So I'll move on now. We got another passage here that I want to talk about. It says, Jesus passed through a certain village and saw a crowd of idlers of the baser sort, and they were tormenting a cat, which they had found and treated it shamefully. And Jesus commanded them to cease and began to reason with them. But they would have none of this. Sorry, my cursor was acting funny. But they would have none of his words and reviled him. Then he made a whip of knotted cords and drove them away. Sounds similar to the temple incident, doesn't it? He was saying, this earth which our Creator made for joy and gladness, you have made into the lowest hell with your deeds of violence and cruelty. And they fled before his face. But one man, more vile than the rest, returned and defiled him. And Jesus put forth his hand, and the young man's arm withered, and great fear came upon all. And one said, he is a sorcerer. The next day, the mother of the young man came unto Jesus, praying that he would restore the withered arm. And Jesus spake unto them of the law of love and the unity of all life in the one family of God. And he also said, as ye do in this life to your fellow creatures, so shall it be done to you in the life to come. And that was kind of what I was linking together in this other passage when he was talking about, where is it? When he was talking about basically your behavior here, there are consequences. Saying, woe to him. No, where? I don't remember where it was now. There was one place in this other passage where I was talking about how I was going to link it together, and now I don't remember. Okay, but like it says here, there are consequences, and it's like, this passage makes me think, I don't want to judge anyone. I know some people are never going to come to this revelation that, hey, we're supposed to be nice to animals. Okay, people are, no matter what you do, you say, people are always going to think, no, man, God gave us the animals to do with what we want, and it's like, as you do in this life to your fellow creatures, so shall it be done to you in the life to come. That's pretty big. And the young man believed, and he confessed his sins. Now that's neat. He repented here. And Jesus stretched out his hand Jesus stretched forth his hand, and the man's withered arm became whole, even as the other, and the people glorified God, who had given such power unto man. That's neat. God does give power to men. We have the ability to do a lot, and sometimes it can be hard to wrap our minds around that we can heal people. I know it seems like a far stretch, but that's why Jesus, he came to show us, and I think it's neat that he said, you guys can do greater things than me. And I think we've heard the gospel our whole lives, and we've seen all the things that Jesus did, and it's hard to think that we can do some of the things that he did. We believe it for other people, but not ourselves. But hey, I'm a good example. All I did was change the way that I ate, and I'm healed of a lifetime chronic disease that a doctor said was a lifetime thing. I'd have to be on medication my whole life. And I just made a simple change, quit eating animal DNA, and I don't have the muscle inflammation that I had lived with for years. And what he called an incurable autoimmune condition is just something I don't deal with anymore. So I think that's neat. It came to pass one day. This is the final story that I'm going to be talking about. As Jesus had finished his discourse in a place near Tiberias where there are 7 wells, a certain young man brought live rabbits and pigeons that he might have to eat with his disciples. And Jesus looked. I always have trouble finding my cursor. And Jesus looked on the young man with love and said to him, you have a good heart, and God shall give you light, but don't you know that God in the beginning gave man the fruits of the earth for food? I like this last example because it directly relates to food. What this man was going to use the animals for was just to eat them. And again, Jesus points back to the garden, to creation. It says God gave us the fruits of the earth. He did not make man lower than the ox or the horse or the sheep, that he should kill and eat the flesh and blood of his fellow creatures. Okay, you believe that Moses indeed commanded such creatures to be slain and offered in sacrifice and eaten, and so you do this in the temple. But behold, one greater than Moses is here, and he comes to put away the bloody sacrifices of the law and the feasts on them, and to restore the pure oblation and unbloody sacrifice as in the beginning, even the grains and fruits of the earth. Of that which you offer unto God, in the purity shall you eat, but of that kind which you offer in purity shall you not eat. For the hour comes when your sacrifices and feasts of blood shall cease, and you shall worship God with a holy worship and a pure oblation. Therefore, let these creatures go free, that they may rejoice in God and bring no guilt to man. And the young man set them free, and Jesus broke their cages and their bonds. Okay, these are the only 3 stories that I have for this video. Short and sweet, but it gives you an idea that of how he handled a lot of situations. And these types of stories, we've seen him in the last few videos, but it's all through this gospel and how he is including the animals as a part of his ministry, treating people and creatures of God all with compassion, hospitality. So it is big, and it's just sad where we're at today, where mankind would rather be. Mankind would rather live in ignorance and continue living according to the lust of literally eating flesh, than to actually change this aspect of their worship towards God and honor his creation, honor his design. But I love the example that you read in this book, and that's really all I have. I saw this picture. I thought it was really cool. It reminded me of that passage of how when the earth is restored and everyone will be living in peace, all animals laying together, everyone eating the plants of the earth. And I think the passage talks about an infant or a toddler or some type of young boy playing with a snake. And so this picture of this child hugging a wolf just made me think of that passage. I can't remember. I believe it's Isaiah. But that's really all I have for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed this, going through the Gospel of the Holy 12. And I don't know when I'll make the next video, the next part 6. I don't know what it's about yet. I've just kind of been titling these according to a little cluster of passages that are within those few pages. So this one just went along the lines of the theme of handling animal abuse. So whenever the next video comes, I'll just talk to you guys then. Thanks for watching. Please share, please subscribe, and just help get the word out there that our Creator wants us to have compassion towards all of His creation. I'll see you guys later. Thanks for watching.